Hello friends, Kate Smith Course here. I'm a Reiki master and a tarot intuitive, and I do a weekly energy reading almost every week. I try to. So here it is again. Here is our weekly energy reading where I tap into the energies of what you might be experiencing in your week ahead, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. I go over a little bit of astrology and also some tarot cards that I have pulled. So jumping right in on what month are we in? I was going to say January. Who? Okay. April 16th, we have a full moon in Libra. And so I know that that's like the big thing that people want to probably be hearing about for this weekly energy reading. And so, first of all, I'll first talk about the full moon in Libra. So we get that all out of the way. And then I'll go into other energies that you might be experiencing in this week ahead. Full moon in Libra. Libra is about emotions and relationships, but we're also in the Aries season. So that means that the sun is in Aries, and Aries is about the self. I am. It's the first in the zodiac wheel, and that's figuring out that jumping in energy, that startup energy. And so when we have the full moon in Libra, we're kind of and the sun in Aries, we're kind of looking at what is my relationship with myself and how is that being reflected in the connection and relationships that I have with other people. So I do have the Moonology deck by Yasmin Boland. And so this is the full moon in Libra card. It says a win-win outcome is forecast. So that's all already off the bat a lovely energy. I will read directly from the book because I think that it says some pretty interesting things in here. The full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end or moving to a new level of commitment. It's important to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a reason. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time, so try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. And I love that because the Libra is represented by the scales, a balance, a give and take. So I think that with this, especially since we're in, the sun is in Aries, full moon in Libra, I think that that's really standing out. How maybe have we been a little bit selfish in our relationships? How have we been maybe putting our own needs ahead of our partners? Or how have we been so involved in our own emotions and our own fire energy? How have we been not allowing that give and take to occur? Have we been taking too much? So that's something important to think about when it comes to any potential, power struggles that you might see in relationships as well, which can also be amplified because Pluto will square the sun and moon. And Pluto is that death kind of energy. So it really wouldn't surprise me if there are some ends to relationships. But the Pluto energy is also, since it's squaring, it can be that intensity, that tension that we can sometimes feel. And with the full moon having the amplified emotions, that climax kind of feeling, we might notice ourselves maybe being a little bit more temperamental or not regulating our temper as much as we normally do. I feel like with Pluto squaring the moon and the sun, and it, Libra being about that give and take, I think it's important to assess the patterns around relationships that we have. Have we been people pleasing? So maybe you're on the other end of that spectrum. Maybe you've been people pleasing. Maybe you're giving too much of yourself and maybe neglecting that Aries I am, that self-care, taking care of yourself before everybody else, because you need to fill up your own cup first, right? We hear that phrase all the time, but do we actually do it? So maybe assessing that relationship that you have with yourself and assessing the patterns that you have in relationships. Are you letting people pass by the boundaries that you've set up? Are you making sure that you have your boundaries intact? Another thing with boundaries is those energetic boundaries that sometimes some people really associate or resonate with the term empath. And I really encourage you to step away from that for a moment, because it is not your responsibility to hold other people's emotions. You do not need to feel what they feel. That is not your responsibility. So doing energetic protection, making sure you're not taking on others' energy, because it's really unhelpful. There's not many times where that is a helpful thing to be able to do. You can be empathetic without being an empath, and what we associate with that word. So I think I shared a post the other day that was essentially saying, don't be affected by the energy of the room, influence the energy of the room. So when you step into a space, you're influencing it, because you are such a light in this world. So just something to consider there. So some other additional meanings for this card might be: see the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. So I feel, especially with that Libra and it being about the relationships and the loving energy, we also have Venus in Pisces, which is about love and peace and creativity. So creating these loving relationships. So if you are in, say, an argument or a disagreement with your partner, come at it through a heartfelt space. Look at the situation through the eyes of unconditional love and compassion, and see if you can come to some type of resolution in that way. This might be also saying it's time for you to make a firm decision. We also have the Justice card that I pulled, and they have the scales here. Again, that symbol of Libra, the scales, justice, making firm, just decisions. So it might be time for you to do that. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. So again, coming back to Libra, can be sometimes they can be worried about their image and the way that they look and present themselves into the world. They can be the people pleasers. They can be the person that wants everybody to like them. They can be, or sometimes Libras have the tendency to be a little bit argumentative, like lawyers and people involved in the justice system, because they like to argue their point. They like that justice. I guess that's the only word that I can think of right now. So looking after yourself, so that self-care, the sun in Aries, the self, I am. So making sure you're taking that time to look after yourself, always avoiding the vanity and being humble, but self-care is important, as always. So at the gift shop, we do have some full moon bath bombs. I believe we still have some in stock. So maybe your version of self-care is, especially if you have a Cancer moon, like if your moon is in Cancer in your birth chart, baths are really good for your soul. So that's just one of the things to consider, is how can you be taking care of yourself so that you can be helping to take care of other people. It might be saying now is a great time for a makeover. So if you're catching yourself feeling the need to maybe dye your hair or do your makeup a different way than you normally would, that might also be related to, that could be related to the full moon in Libra, but also Venus being in Pisces, that is also a little bit of a creative energy, like anything is possible, having the confidence to do that and be able to pull it off. So I think that that's a good, something good to point out and talk about as well. So we also have Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. They're conjunct. And so with this, I feel like it's important to point out that Jupiter is like that expansive energy, whereas Neptune is more like our connection to source, seeing how beautiful it is that we are divine, we are made in this divine image, and that we can ask for guidance from our angels and our guides whenever we need. So that beautiful relationship. But then Neptune and Jupiter being conjunct, I feel like we are being guided to the truth, because there's a lot of times where maybe we're confused. Maybe we are being told different stories and we have to weigh a decision. Maybe we have to weigh, is this the truth? Is this not the truth? What's my personal truth too? Because sometimes we can think that we know something about ourselves, but then we hear other people maybe giving their other opinions. So maybe we have a codependent relationship with other people. Are we being too dependent on other people instead of depending on ourselves to be guided to our own truth rather than just feeding off of what other people are telling us? So I feel like we're ascending as a planet, and I definitely feel that with the Queen of Cups. She's very intuitive, but she's not quite to the King of Cups yet, but she is in touch with, she's empathetic, so she's in touch with other people's emotions, but she's also very intuitive. So I feel like our intuition is, of course, being heightened. The Queen of Swords has come out, so in our week ahead, be paying attention to, this is again the swords. I think of like seeking the truth in a way. Allow ourselves to be guided to the truth. So if I hold the cards like this, the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords are sitting back to back. They are kind of, so they're balanced in that way. They're using each other as a way to maintain stability and groundedness and balance. So balancing your empathy for other people, your emotions, your relationships with other people, with your own needs. The self. I see swords sometimes as more a little bit self-centered, but not necessarily in a bad way. So focusing on yourself, how can you focus on yourself and maintain your relationships? So I'm just going to peek if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about, because of course I had to take a ton of notes. Yes. So one of the phrases that I wrote down, especially related to potential power struggles in relationships, is how can I be powerful through love? How can you be in your power and use love as kind of the backbone for that? So I feel like that's something important to consider, especially I have the 7 of Wands here, and this could feel like a little bit combative, like caught off guard. Maybe you have an opinion or an idea about something, and other people are coming at you with all of their opinions and ideas, which maybe are different than yours, and you just feel kind of off guard and off balance from that. And then maybe you're questioning, who am I? What are my beliefs with this? Maybe somebody came at you with something that caught you off guard. Maybe there was a surprise that happened and you weren't prepared for it. So now you feel a little bit out of balance. So I feel like this full moon in Libra can give you a time to come back into balance here. Find your truth, find your inner knowing, but come at it from a place of love. And again, these messages that I pulled with these tarot cards are all fantastic messages that can pull you through your week ahead. It doesn't have to just be on the 16th, on the full moon. Throughout your week ahead, trying to find the balance, trying to find emotional balance, especially if you feel yourself getting fired up easily. Find yourself balancing your emotions, your relationship with others, and your relationship with yourself throughout the entire week. And then also seek your truth. Find out what ideas and things are resonating with you rather than just vibing off of what other people are saying, because sometimes other people's truths are not your truths. So that concludes the weekly energy reading. Hopefully this resonates for you. You can always comment under the video or send me a private message if you want to talk about what you've experienced in your week. If you would like a personal reading, please schedule on www.crystallizewithkate.com, or you can direct message me on my Facebook page, Crystallize with Kate, if you would like to book a session with me. Otherwise, I hope you all have a beautiful week ahead, and I will see you guys later. Bye.